Going to start recording. Awesome. Cool. So welcome to how to create your mini course and grow your email list. And the reason why I'm happy to present this to you today is because I've been working in digital marketing for years. I've been a consultant independently for the last 5 years, internally going back to 2009. And I know that everyone wants to grow their lead list, right? You want to get more leads, you want to grow your pipeline, so on and so forth. And there are several ways to do it. You can have a lead magnet, which could be some kind of PDF, some kind of guide, some kind of handy tool or a template. But for me, when I first created my online course, my free on-demand course, I was amazed at how well it worked. And I wish that I had done this a lot sooner. So I want to share that with you today and show you not only how to do it, but kind of just remove some of the hesitation you might have around doing it in the first place, because it seems daunting. It seems challenging. You're like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make my own course? Like I'm not too technical. I don't want to start editing videos, so on and so forth. I want to remove all those obstacles and show you how to do it with impact and actually how to generate revenue from it as well. So for those of you that don't know me, I'll give you a quick background. My name is Terry Rice, and I'm a business development consultant. And normally what I do is I help entrepreneurs monetize their knowledge. So consultants, coaches, maybe you're a course creator. That's more or less my lane. I help people like that grow their brand and their revenue. Outside of that, I'm also a contributor to Entrepreneur Magazine, which is a lot of fun because I get to interview some of the leading entrepreneurs in the world, and then I'll try out some of their tips on myself. And if it works, I pass it on to people like you. So I'm kind of that conduit between these entrepreneurs and yourself. And I just appreciate the fact that I just get to learn and test things and then share them through my column, assuming they actually work and get paid for it. So it's kind of fun. And then beyond that, or before that, I worked at Facebook as more or less an account manager, helping clients like BarkBox, Warby Parker, Gilt monetize paid Facebook and paid Instagram. And then before that, I worked at Adobe as a search engine marketing consultant. So that's me. That's my background. To reiterate, I also live in Brooklyn. I have 3 kids and they are loud. So we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll hear them, maybe you won't. But that's it. So the agenda, I want to go through this quickly. Just determine high impact outcomes for your course. Why are you building this course in the first place? Right? Is it just for leads? Maybe you didn't want to generate revenue. Mine was free, but you want to start with why you're doing it in the first place, and then go through how to plan and produce your course. The planning part's really important because the actual creation process doesn't take that long. It'll take you, under 5 hours. It's the planning that really takes time, and you want to use that time in a constructive way to make sure that you reach your desired outcome. And then how do you actually promote it, right? You don't want to just have this course sitting there that no one's taking. So we're going to go through some passive and active promotion tactics. And then after that, how do we monetize this? So following up and booking sales calls. So that's what we're going to do today. Few housekeeping notes here. I'm going to email you a copy of the deck plus the recording. So go ahead, take notes. That's great. But don't feel like you have to write down every little thing that's on the screen. That would be largely redundant. And I also ask if you take any pictures during this, maybe you see a really cool, note or picture or whatever. I just ask that you take a screenshot of that and just tag me on social. It's Terry Rice, because I like to keep track of these and share them out later. So what I'm actually going to do right now is a little tip for all of you. I'm going to change my name here in Zoom to my social handle, which is It's Terry Rice. So it'll be even easier for you to keep track of that. But let's take a step back. Use that as a tip. Next time you're leading a webinar, change your name to your social handles. It's going to be a lot easier for people to find you later. So hope that's beneficial. But before I get started with the actual content, just wondering, in the chat, if you can just write down why you're interested in creating an online course. Like, what's your background, what's your company, how do you think this is going to benefit you? And Jonas, if you don't mind just going off mic going off mute, letting us know, like, why is this something that seems like you might want to do?
Yeah, I think that it could complement our content strategy. I'm just launching a marketing agency, and so I think course creation is a good idea. I've created a couple for the fitness industry, but I've never created any from a consultant or marketing standpoint. So I, love your courses, and I kind of respect the work that you do. So I figured it'd be good and insightful to learn how you do it.
Kind of respect. Thanks, Jonas. Appreciate that. Could I get that as a testimonial from you?
That's the one word that you catch. God.
I kind of respect Terry. Highly recommend.
Kind of. he's kind of a smart guy.
Appreciate your honesty. Cool. And I think a lot of you, that's the use case as well, right? You want to grow your lead list. You want to show that you're an expert and obviously generate revenue on the back end. Cool. So if any of you want to actually learn more about my services and how I help people, you can feel free to book a discovery call. There's a link to it right now. I'll put it up there later. But like I said, what I do normally is I help other coaches and consultants grow their brand and their revenue. So if you want to get more information on that later, I'm happy to do that. Cool. And we have Stuart. He's an integrated compliance, and he wants to reach physician practices that really need help with meeting compliance requirements of federal government. Yeah, I mean, because a mistake on their end is pretty costly, right? So if you have this course that walks them through some of these gotchas that they want to avoid, you're already providing them with value. And then from there, you can go deeper into a larger relationship. So I think that's great. Cool. So, it looks like both of you already have an idea of what the impact of your course would be. But let's just go through some other options here. One is it could be just to grow your sales pipeline, right? You just want to make sure that you have people on your list that you want to pre-qualify and potentially work with. You can also upsell to a full course or some kind of consulting if you offer coaching or consulting. So here's like a mini course, upsell to a full one. Another cool thing is you can also just do affiliate marketing, meaning you could just have this free course and there's links to products or tools that your audience could use to help them execute on it. And if they click through, you get paid money. So you don't actually have to make money off the course if you don't want to. You can just grow your lead list, have these affiliate links in there and generate revenue from that as well. So it's pretty cool. And obviously, if you want, you can charge for the course. So again, in my case, I have this mini course, which is free. And as of now, it's brought in over 500 leads. But if I wanted to, I could charge $10 for it, $20 for it, $100 for it, so on and so forth. It's up to you. Either way, by the end of this call, you're going to know how to grow how to build your course. Cool. All right. So actually, Tracy had a really cool note here. She said, I'm an executive and leadership coach, and I seem to say the same thing a lot over and over again. So I want to be able to communicate that without saying it over again. Yeah, Tracy, I think that's brilliant. Right? If someone's like, oh, could I pick your brain? What's the best way to do this or do that? You're like, look, I got a 5-step process. It's in this course. Click here, do it, and you're all set. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You can kind of just get it done. And then from there, they'll have more probing questions for you that you can answer, but you cover all the basics. So I think that's super brilliant. Now, if you look at this chart, this is actually from Tony Robbins. So maybe not the industry that you're in, but you do want to have this initial offering, which is a lead magnet. And that's what I use mine for, right? Mine is free. It's this lead magnet to get people on your email list. There's other ways to do it. You can do paid ads, you can do speaking engagements, so on and so forth. In my case, I use the free course as a lead magnet. And the next thing you want to have is what's called a tripwire. This is some kind of offering that's between like $15, $300. This could be the full course you're offering, perhaps. It could be some kind of PDF, some kind of ebook, whatever it is. But you want to consider offering something of value, not too expensive where people are on the fence too long about it. But that would be the next step, is to have this tripwire. And then you have a core product. And in this case, that's something between $1,000 and $23,000. This is your core product that you're offering, and that's the ultimate upsell, or one upsell from the lead magnet to the tripwire to the core product. Now, if you're looking at this and you're a coach or a consultant, I'm going to just go ahead and mute everybody real quick. And you don't have these things set up, you can always unmute yourself, by the way. Then just be aware this is something you should consider. Am I covering these phases here? And the last one's my favorite, the profit multiplier. Do you have some larger offerings that you have that maybe you only do 1, 2, 3 a year? If you do, you're making $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, right? So my core product that you see here is my group coaching program. That's when you meet with me for 12 weeks. I show you how to grow your brand and revenue as a coach or a consultant. And as of now, that's $3,000. It's going to go up to $4,000 in January. But my profit multiplier is me consulting other consulting firms, how they can use tools like LinkedIn to attract the right audience to them. And since that's more of a B2B thing, I can charge much more for that, which allows me to charge less for my group coaching program, which is pretty awesome. But you always want to have some kind of thing further down the line that's more expensive, more premium for the top like 5, 10% of your audience. And again, what we're talking about today is either creating that lead magnet or the tripwire, right, in regards to this course. So the next thing you want to do is determine the problem that your course solves, because you want to look for one quick win, more or less, right? So what's the problem that my course solves? And going back to what we heard earlier, what questions do you hear over and over again that you're sick of answering, maybe, right? Or what are some challenges that they face on a daily basis, perhaps? What transformation can you deliver to them that's going to earn their trust and allow you to upsell at a later time? Now, if you're unsure what you want what problems you want your course to solve, you can do surveys. You can survey your audience. Let's say you're a digital marketing consultant. You can survey e-commerce owners and say, hey, what's your biggest challenge you have, going into the post-COVID new normal? Get those responses. And if the people are like, ad copy, I'm not sure how to write ad copy, your course could be the new normal of ad copy, how e-commerce owners can thrive and survive. There you go. So if you're an e-commerce, if you're a digital marketer, write that down to steal it if you want. But you see what I'm saying? What you're doing is you're building this product by design to answer questions. So if you're not sure what questions that your audience would have, then go ahead and do that research. Because what you don't want to do is build a course that no one cares about. And because the most frustrating thing can be is if you got a free course and nobody wants it. That's bad. It's like, geez, really? For nothing you don't want it? So again, do some research and make sure you're solving a real problem that people are going to want to get solved by your course, right? But don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't make it seem like, oh, it has to be this many videos and like this many worksheets and so on and so forth. Focus on one quick win, right? So for that digital marketing consultant, is going to say, look, here's how you write ad copy. Not here's how you use Facebook and Instagram and paid search and so on and so forth. So focus on one quick win. It's going to help you because you'll get done faster. It's going to help your audience because they're going to accomplish something, get that reward, and then want more. Because what happens is sometimes when people sign up for a course, they get this initial this bolt of like reward. They're like, oh yeah, it's awesome. I'm going to take this course. I'm going to do it. Then they start taking it and like, man, this is hard and long, right? So you want to make sure they get over this hump quickly and give them that one quick win. It should take about 2 or 3 hours to complete, and then save the rest of that for a full course or other services that you provide. Right? So don't overdo it. I'm guilty of that quite often. And I'm going to pause just to bring up the fact that if you have questions, just ask them as they come up. Don't wait for me to stop. Again, I have 3 kids. They never wait for me to pause. So just go for it. But I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. You don't have to have this super long course that takes you, weeks to create. Just deliver that one quick win to your audience. And then from there, you can gradually move up to other opportunities. All right. Next thing, plan and produce your course. You want to create an outline for your course. And this is the part where you're like, oh man, I also want to go in there and start pushing buttons. I got all these ideas. But the more you actually plan, the faster everything goes and the more efficient it goes. So you want to think to yourself, okay, well, based on my desired outcome from the course, and Jonas, what's your desired outcome from your course, out of curiosity? Or what's the possibility?
Learn the advantages of learn the advantages and how to set up a CRM.
Cool. Yeah. So that's important. So learning the advantages of how to set up a CRM, you want to think to yourself, okay, what are the step-by-step actions that you have to take for them to solve this problem, right? To accomplish this goal. And then chronologically list out all those steps, right? So step 1 might be just understanding your audience, understanding even how to use email marketing, how to write copy, then how to do segmentation, how to, look at your data behind it, open rate, click-through rate, so on and so forth, how to optimize, and then finally how that leads to revenue. So that's an example of what your outline could look like. Step 1, who's your target audience and what's your desired outcome that you want them to do? The last step is, okay, well, how do we achieve that through optimization and perhaps a sales call? But this is the part where some of you might get stuck because you're such an expert, you might yada, yada, yada over some of the details. You're like, oh, everybody knows this. They don't. And if you've ever put together some IKEA furniture where you're like, wait, what the hell? Like, why is it done now? But a page ago, it was all on the floor. You don't want your audience to feel like that. You don't want them to feel like, hey, why'd you, gloss over this step that was so important to me? So you're going to get granular. And again, that's why for the, your mini course, you want to focus on just one outcome because you'll be surprised how long it takes you to just get nitty gritty on one outcome, right? So super important to do that. So here's an example of a course that a friend of mine created. It's how to create a 1-minute video that will inspire and attract your audience. And she's like, well, the step one is you have to get clear on yourself and your audience, right? Who are you as a person and who's your audience? Next step is effective storytelling. She'll teach you how to do that. How do you tell a story with an intro, a hook, and some kind of conclusion? And then pre-production for your video, making sure that you decide, where you're going to film it, what kind of lighting, so on and so forth, actually filming it, and then lastly, editing and distribution. So these are all the steps that go into creating a 1-minute video, right? That's how she would build this out. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to get very clear on saying, okay, if you want to create a 1-minute video, here's the steps. Or in Jonas's case, if you want to understand why you want to use CRM, here's the steps as well, right? Let's take a step back here. Can I get one brave volunteer who will let us know their desired outcome of the course is? And I kind of want to reverse engineer this as well. What would the steps look like to accomplishing that? So if someone wants to just chime in by saying, hey, I got it, or whatever in the chat window, that'd be cool. But I just want to get one person to chime in there. I think my daughter just volunteered, but she left.
I'll do it.
Cool. Awesome. So give us your name, what do you do, and what's your desired outcome from this course?
Lionel, resource professional by trade, current Air Force, 20 plus years military. My end game is to be able to coach individuals on how to interview successfully and prepare for the interview and the offer and negotiation process.
Got it. So I want to reiterate. So your end goal is to help people prepare for interviews, how to negotiate if they get an offer, and just prepare for that entire process, correct?
Correct. Step by step, tools, proper researching, how to do the behavior interviewing, all of that.
Awesome. All right. So what's the first thing they would do in regards to, getting ready for this interview?
They would learn how to participate in a behavior style interview. So I would teach them the research they would need to do for the companies that they're interviewing with, and then also the strategies on how to position themselves as a top candidate.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What's a behavioral style interview?
So it's more structured. So it's one of the open-ended questions. So it's not a yes or no. It's the it's a popular STAR method that's out there where you teach your candidates to talk about the situations, the tasks, the actions, and the results that they implemented during the courses of their experience. So teach them how to methodically answer those questions.
Okay. And the reason why I bring that up is because that's step one to an extent. What is a behavioral style interview, right? Hey, yeah. I know you might have heard of this kind of interview before, but step one is just understanding what this looks like. And then I'll show you how to do it. But that's how granular you want to get when you're walking through this, is saying, here's what it's going to look like. Now I'll prepare you for it. And then there's obviously steps after that up into getting an offer and negotiating. But everyone keep that in mind. Like, I've never heard that term before. I'm 42 years old. I've had a couple interviews before. So just realize that's the audience you're talking to, people who don't necessarily get these things right off the bat. So thank you for that, Lionel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Cool. So add details to your outline. So going back to the video, step one is clarity. Well, what does that mean? Clarity. It could be, step one could be, after that could be defining your personal brand voice, then defining your target audience for the video, then determining the goal of the video and call to action. So you're going to start to get more granular on these steps that you begin to lay out, just like we did with Lionel right now. All right. Now, let me stop here because I'm going to make a big jump and I don't want to have the IKEA problem, right? These are the steps involved: clarity, effective storytelling, pre-production, shooting, editing, and distribution. That's how we define the outcomes of this course and the steps involved. Now we're getting more granular on clarity. What's that mean? Within this lesson on clarity, there's going to be three things she talks about: defining your brand voice, defining your target audience, and determining the goal and call to action. So there's three sections within this, these 3 bullet points. Okay. Now, after that, we're going to get even deeper into defining your personal brand voice. What does that mean? You're going to write a script for that. Script this out. And I know you're saying, Terry, I know it's stuff like the back of my hand. That's fine. But in the moment when you're actually recording things, you don't want to be like, it's not going to work. So yes, script this stuff out. And like right now, I'm just showing you what a script can look like. I'm sure you've seen words before, but just get nitty gritty with it. And this is going to seem, I don't want to say unnecessary. It's going to seem time consuming. You're better off consuming that time now, spending that time now, as opposed to recording, then re-recording, and then just going back and forth like that. So write a script. If that seems like kind of a pain, why don't you just say what you would say, record it, and then you can use a tool like Descript to actually transcribe that into written text, and then you can just edit that as well, right? So you don't necessarily have to write everything if you just want to kind of say it first. And I'll say it again, it's Descript, Descript, script. But just make sure you write all this stuff down. I've tried doing it the other way. I'm not telling you this because I read a blog about it. I've tried doing it just freestyle. I'm like, okay, I know this stuff. Because like my first course was on Facebook ads. And I used to work at Facebook. So I'm like, oh, I got this. I didn't have it at all, right? So please write this stuff down. Even if it does seem granular, write it down. It's going to make it so much easier. And later on, if you decide to use an editor to help you with this, they're going to say, well, where's the script? And you're going to say, oh, I just talked. So it's going to help you a lot. Heck, beyond that, if you want to, you can use some of this as a blog article. You can use it for social media content. You can use this written content in other places as well. So hopefully I made my case on why you should write this stuff down. But if you need more convincing, let me know and I'll bug you some more. Also, write the way you talk, not the way you write. I'll say it again, write the way you talk, not the way you write. Because if you look at a transcript from this call, it's going to seem weird. Like the sentences are going to seem long. I'm going to end sentences with like and stuff like that, or I'll start a sentence with a conjunction, so on and so forth. But just make sure you write the way you talk, not the way you write. And if you mumble like me, don't write down words that are difficult to say. Like seriously, like some words I just can't say. And I should probably go to a speech therapist for it or whatever, but like some words I just can't say. Or if I'm trying to say it in a clear way, I'll mumble it or I'll say it too quickly. So you might have to kind of alter things to an extent. Just bringing it up right now. So one thing I say often is signature speaking topics. I have to say it that slow or else I'll mumble it, right? So just write the way you talk, not the way you write. Now, on average, about 600 words will take you 2 minutes to say. Now, I speak very quickly. I'm trying to slow down right now because we're in polite company, but normally I speak very quickly. So, plus or minus on your end. But each video should be 5 minutes or less, which is about 1,400 words. So if you have, let's say, 6 videos in your course, that would be what, 8,400 words, right? So less than 10,000 words. That's what you're writing, right? So again, it might sound like a lot at first, but it's going to save you a lot of time. So just aim for that. But what you can do, and what I did for the course that some of you might have taken, the one that's called Attract and Convert, is I just had a 2-minute intro to every lesson. I said, hey, in this video or in this lesson, we're going to talk about social media marketing. Super important to get out there and engage with people on LinkedIn because it's a great way to meet professionals, so on and so forth. I only talked for 2 minutes and I said, okay, cool. Now let's get into it. Here's your action item. And then I just wrote the rest of it. So I only talked for 2 minutes saying, hey, everybody, I'm going to talk for 2 minutes because I don't want to mess up and it's going to take me forever if I don't. And I literally did this. I recorded my whole mini course in 2 hours. That includes setting up the camera and the lights because my wife took the kids out so it wouldn't be too loud. And I literally did it all in 2 hours. 7 2-minute videos, including setting up all that stuff. It took me 2 hours. All right. So again, don't feel like you have to have a lot of content of you on camera. Hell, you don't even have to be on camera if you don't want to. I've done other courses where it's just me talking over slides and I'll put a picture up in the beginning. I'm like, here's who I am. But you don't have to necessarily be on camera if you don't want to. Just super clear on that. And again, questions, if they come up, just ask them. Don't wait for me to stop. But yeah, let's go into recording your content. That's what I was just talking about. Keep this simple. Keep this really simple, especially if it's your first course. So what you can do is just talk over slides or a screen share. You don't necessarily need to get like a big camera set up and then lights, camera, action, and hey, where's my mic and where's that that clappy thing. You don't need all that stuff necessarily. You can just have a presentation on PowerPoint or Google Slides and just talk over that and or share your screen. If you want, you can use the camera on your computer if you do want to appear, and use a selfie light or face a window unless it's cloudy like it is in Seattle right now. But this is really all you need. And one of the best mini courses I took this year is about LinkedIn marketing. The guy recorded it all from his camera, all from his computer. And like when you're reading, your lines, you don't want to look like you're reading your lines. You can tell he's like reading off the screen, just completely reading off the screen. And at one point, his roommate walked behind him. I don't know what was going on, but like his roommate walked behind him. It was still one of the best courses I've taken in the last 3 years. So don't worry about production value. Worry about the education that you're providing to people, right? Later on, sure, if you want a full-blown course, do your thing. But heck, we're still in the middle of COVID right now. It's hard to find a place to film. So don't feel like you have to have the perfect production in order for it to be a good course. It's really the information you're delivering that counts. And I really want to stress this because so many people are like, oh, I'm waiting for my lights to come in the mail. I'm like, just make the course. Like don't confuse ordering from Amazon with progress. Like, just, do you have your scripts done? No, I'm waiting for my lights. You don't need lights to write a script. Just freaking write the script, So please focus on that, not like your selfie light. But if you do want to buy a bunch of stuff, here you go, right? I have this Amazon store where you can, see what I use to create my course or one of my courses. Tripod, a teleprompter will cost you about $1.50. I have a microphone, a wireless microphone. I have lights. I have a backdrop. I have a Canon camera, so on and so forth. I have all this stuff, but you don't necessarily need it. What I'm saying is if you do want to get this stuff, cool, go with it. For me, it made sense because since then I've made a lot of social videos as well using the same equipment. And again, I'm in New York. We're still during COVID, so it's hard to get a videographer, to create this stuff. So I'm like, I'll just self-shoot it myself. But you don't need all this stuff to get started. I would focus on a minimum viable product, that MVP, especially if it's free. It's like, come on, it's free. Like, what do you want from me, right? So just get this done first. You can always update it later if you want. Okay. In regards to recording, my favorite tool to use for that is Loom, Loom, and I'll give you a link to it in the deck and in the email. But the cool thing about it is you can have like your talking head video where it's like you're going over your slides and you can actually see yourself as well. People can see you as well. So that's what I've used several times. I also just use it for my consulting business. But keep this in mind. If you do want to go that route, realize if you feel subconscious subconscious about, like, is that the word? Self-conscious. Thank you for someone. Feel self-conscious about people knowing that you're reading a script, then you don't want the talking head, right? You're better off just having that quick intro or a video or a picture of yourself, not you on there. So just keep that in mind. If you want to go the easy route and just read off a script the whole time, maybe don't have your, a video on you as well. But Loom's pretty cool. It's free. You can also use ScreenFlow, another screen capture program, which is also free. So all this stuff is free for you to get started if you haven't noticed already. Now, going into the editing part, hopefully you don't have to do too much editing, but iMovie is a really good option. If you have a Mac, it's free, as well as OpenShot. But with the editing, really your goal is maybe just editing out the beginning part where you're like, okay, let me start my camera up and start sharing my slides. And at the end, when you stop sharing, I'm not saying like put a bunch of graphics and cool stuff on there. It should be very basic editing, especially if you're doing it yourself. But these are two programs you can use to do that. So again, iMovie and OpenShot, you can use those for editing purposes. But if you want, if you want to have someone else do it, this is the service that I use. It's called Production Soup. This guy actually lives in Brooklyn too. Actually, no, he's down in Austin right now because of COVID. But he did the video editing for my on-demand course. Again, it's that one where it's those 7 2-minute videos. Him and his team did it. They did a really good job. I was happy with them. I think it was like around like $800, something like that. So for me, it made sense to have someone else edit it. Why? Because I have 3 kids and they're all under 5 years old. So sure, could I have taught myself how to edit videos? Yeah, but I'm also busy with remote kindergarten. So I don't have time during the day to do these things. So that's the way you want to think about it too. Do you want to develop a new skill? Sure, then go ahead and, go this route. Or do you maybe just want to leave that to the experts for now and then learn that skill later? It's up to you, because if you're time constrained, are you better off spending 10 hours editing yourself or 10 hours doing something else that's going to help grow your business or your brand? It's up to you. There's options available. For me, I didn't have the time just because these kids need stuff. So that's how it goes. All right. So actually creating your course. This part's really simple once you've already done all the recording and created all the content, because you're just uploading it into a program. And the program that I used was Teachable. Yes or no in the chat window? Have you heard of Teachable before? I'll say it again, Teachable. Let's see here. All right. Not yet. Okay. Using it right now, Jeff? Cool. Jody, Tatiana, you have Jelena. Yeah, cool. Sabrina, no. All right. So yeah, the program I used for all my courses I've created for so far is Teachable. And that's what we're going to be using as an example right now. But I do want to bring this up. They have a free 14-day trial, and that's a link for you to take advantage of that. I'll give you a link in the write-up as well. But what I would say is, if you do take advantage of this, plan everything first. Don't sign up for Teachable, then clock's ticking, right? Plan everything first. Write your content, have your outline ready, maybe even have your recordings ready too, because then what you can do is you can just put that stuff in there day one, and then day two, you're already promoting it. And if you're like, heck, I've only had this up for 10 days and it's doing pretty well, then that would be more of an incentive for you to buy the full version. So plan everything first, then go ahead and take advantage of the free trial. Don't take advantage just to say, oh, well, clock's ticking, it's going to force me to do it, because you still might not do it. so just do everything first, and then go ahead and do it. But the way that it's laid out in Teachable is there's this hierarchy where you have modules and lessons. So modules could be this overarching theme, like social media marketing. Lessons can be Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. So getting more granular on the theme. Now, going back to your mini course, though, you might only have one module and everything's included in that. So the module could be just the name of the course, and the lessons are, in this case, clarity, storytelling, pre-production, shooting, editing, and distribution. So it's going to be a lot quicker in that case. And here's what it looks like in the actual tool. This is one of my courses that I made, another mini course. It's called How to Create Your Irresistible Offer and Close More Deals. So at the very top up here, you see a module where it says How to Create Your Irresistible Offer. Everything underneath that is a lesson, right? So the very top is a module, everything else is a lesson. And if you click into one of the lessons, here's what you can do. You can add text. That's what I have at the top, where I'm saying, hey, everyone, you're special, and I believe in you. and watch this video, and you're going to believe in yourself too. So you can have text, and then the video, right? You're just going to upload that. And then after that, you can have more text at the bottom too. Here's your action items, right? So the ones that you're probably going to be using are add file, which can be a video, add text, which you're seeing right now. It could be a quiz if you want to check for understanding throughout the course. Adding code and custom code, that's like more of like a developer thing. If that's your thing, go for it. It's not mine, so I couldn't tell you. It can also be an upsell, because with Teachable, they also have, well, there's different programs you could try to sell them on, and Teachable also has live coaching too. So if you're a coach or a consultant, you can say, hey, if you're stuck on this lesson, click here to book a time with me, and I can walk you through it, in real time. So you can add these upsells where it makes sense, right? And then I normally would end it with some kind of activity. So go through this activity. Here's this resource you might need to complete it, so on and so forth. And that's really it. So going back, what you would write for your courses, you'd have the script done already, and then you might have some intro text, then upload the video, and then perhaps some outro text as well as action items and resources they might need. So that's it. That's really it. I mean, and I'm not trying to oversimplify it. The hard part is, I think, first convincing yourself you can do it, and then not being afraid to put it out there, even if you don't think it's perfect. But actually building the course is not that challenging. It's just, it's writing it, it's filming it, it's uploading it. The hard part is putting yourself out there and just be willing to, be vulnerable and, get feedback and see what happens. So let's talk about getting it out there. 2 ways to do it: passive and active promotion, right? So we'll start with passive. On your social channels, so in this case, LinkedIn, you want to have a big call to action for it. So if you go to my LinkedIn right now, it's going to say, hey, join this course. It's going to help you get more coaching and consulting clients. And there's a bit.ly link you can go to there as well. So for all of you who are using LinkedIn, don't have like that generic background there. Always have something relevant for your business. It could be a call to action, a list of your services, whatever it is, but don't just have like that light blue stuff there. In my case, I have my course and I'm tracking it with a bit.ly. I'm like, is this actually working? Because with that bit.ly link, I can see how many clicks it's getting. And therefore I can say, all right, yes, it is worth my time to have this here because it got X amount of clicks over the last 2 weeks. So do that. Next thing is, even on your like your Instagram, you could say, hey, here's this free course, click here to get it. And that's going to bring you to my website where you can access the course there as well. So these are more passive ways to do it. All right. But here's the thing. You can also promote it actively. So I'll give you an example of that. This is me on LinkedIn. And I said, hey, there's 2 questions, 1 solution. Are you a coach or consultant? Do you want to attract and convert more clients? Cool. Take my free course. You're going to discover and implement a 6-step marketing plan for booking coaching consulting clients that are going to pay you what you're worth. Problem solved. Link to join in first content comment. Let me know if you're in. And it got like 16 comments. I'm not sure how many actual people signed up from this one. But if you look, it got 17,000 views of this post. 17,000 people saw this post, and that was just advertising. Now let's take a step back. If you were doing digital marketing and paying for this to get 17,000 views of your content, normally in a platform like LinkedIn, it's going to be at least $10 per 1,000 ad impressions. I got 17,000 for nothing. So my question to you is, why would you pay to promote this when you can just write content like this and get in front of 17,000 people and do it once a week? The other times you post, provide value. And maybe say, oh, here's a handy tip. By the way, I go into more of this in my course. Here's how you sign up for it. But I don't recommend paying to advertise your course because you don't necessarily need to if you just do stuff like this. And hey, if you want to, that's fine. But you should find out what works organically, meaning without paying anything first. And then if you want to boost this kind of content and put money behind it, sure. But see what works for free first before ever paying for it. Right. But that's the advantage of posting on LinkedIn on a regular basis. And if you want, just send me a message. I have another free workshop where I go through LinkedIn marketing and optimization for entrepreneurs and consultants. So let me know. I can send you the link to that as well. And it'll give you more tips on how you can use LinkedIn to grow your brand and your revenue. It's like a 45-minute workshop. So let me know. Happy to send that to you. You can also do warm outreach to individuals. Okay. And in this case, you can say, hey, Tracy, I see you're a consultant. I know I'm coming out of the blue here, but I was wondering if you want to check out my free course, How to Attract More Coaching and Consulting Clients. If so, I'm happy to pass along a link to join. Happy to connect in general as well. Slight typo there, but just ignore that. So what you're doing is saying, hey, I know this is awkward. I'm coming out of the blue here. Own up to the awkwardness, right? And say, but I see you're a consultant and I have this course. And that's why the title of your course has to be so clear. Attract more coaching consulting clients. So you're a coach. I have this course. Do you want it? Well, yeah, it sounds like a good course, right? And then from there, I can pass along a link to join and happy to connect in general just as well. These are things you can do. It's more of a warm outreach as opposed to a cold outreach. And when I've done this in the past, I normally get about a 50% connection rate, meaning 50% of people that I reach out to with some kind of value, in this case on LinkedIn, will accept that connection request. Because I'm not hiding anything. I'm not saying, hey, Tracy, would love to learn more about your business. I'm saying, hey, Tracy, you want this thing? And if you're like, sure, this sounds cool. But before you do this, make sure that you're posting relevant content on LinkedIn, right? Have like your last 3 or 4 posts have to be all value, value, value. Because if they do some research on you and you have nothing posted, or it's just you trying to sell stuff all the time, they're not going to accept this request. So front load yourself for success by posting valuable content on LinkedIn, in this case, before we even send these kind of messages. You get a much better connection rate. All right, moving along here. Oh, there's a question, G. Would a template or worksheet go into the add file option? Yeah, it would. So good question. Yeah, anything like a PDF would be a file. If you're using a Google Doc, it would just be a link you can include though. You can have just a link directly to the Google Doc. I normally like to use Google Docs because if I want to change anything, I can just change the Google Doc without changing whatever I uploaded, right? Because the link's going to still point in the same direction. But if I'm like, oh, there's a typo on this slide, I would just change the actual file that it's linking to, as opposed to having a PDF uploaded that I have to go there and fix it as well, right? Another question, can I do these things if I don't have a website yet? Yeah, one of my buddies, this guy Kellen, he lives in Arizona. He doesn't have a website. He has not updated his LinkedIn since 2010. And if you look him up, his name's Kellen Driscoll. It says he played inside linebacker in the Arena Football League in 2010. That's the last time he uploaded his LinkedIn. He has a course that he sells like this because he normally connects through offline channels or through his network. So you don't necessarily need to have a website. It could be beneficial, but don't feel like that's the first thing you have to do. You can try it out. If it doesn't work, you're like, oh, maybe I need more of a presence, then sure, have a website, but it's not a prereq. So these are ways that you can do this, reaching out to individuals. But what I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend when I get the biggest pops in enrollments is when I'm speaking on behalf of another organization. So earlier last month, I spoke at Freelance Week, which I never actually heard of until they reached out to me to talk there. But I did some presentation on, I think it was LinkedIn marketing, and I wasn't paid for it, but they said, hey, you can promote whatever you want during it. And I think there were like 140 people that turned in, that signed up for my chat or tuned in for it. And I got 64 signups during that chat. So if you want a big pop, you want to be doing webinars like we're doing right now, but have a third party promote it, not yourself. Because like right now I'm doing this individually. If you can partner with a third party like Freelance Business Week or your local Chamber of Commerce, that's how you'll get these really big pops, right? So you can reach out to, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce and say, hey, I know that you have a lot of small businesses there. This is Jonas. He's going to say, I have this great workshop on how a CRM can help you automate your lead nurturing process. Can I deliver that to your members? Now, if they say yes, cool. All Jonas has to do is show up, go through his slides. I don't want to belittle your slides. Go through his slides and then say, hey guys, if you want more, I have this free mini course where I go through this in more depth, and there's actually some action items you can implement. This has worked for me incredibly well over the last 5 years. So instead of just reaching out to individuals, which is fine, I strongly encourage you to reach out to organizations and do this on their behalf. So the last month I've done it for Freelance Business Week. I've done something like this for Amazon, Google, General Assembly, organizations you've never heard of too, by the way, but it doesn't matter so long as my target audience is attending. So it doesn't have to be like the Amazons and the Googles. It can be like Freelance Business Week, which you've never heard of before, even though the names all make sense. So focus on this, right? That's how you get those really big pops. And you say, Terry, how do I do that? Just send this message to them. Hey, I want to see if you ever are interested in me leading a professional development webinar for the Consultants Association of Buffalo. I have this topic, how to attract more how to attract more clients that might be a good fit. And to help extend the learning process, I can give attendees access to this free on-demand course. Geez, I got to finish my decks. So whatever. I did this at like 4:30 in the morning. But anyways, I can also give to this access to this free on-demand course that goes deeper to the same topic. Is this something that you might be interested in? This is more or less the script you're going to use, right? You're going to reach out and say, you have this targeted audience. I have value for them. Do you want me to talk to them? Is that cool? Now, hell, I'd rather reach out to 10 organizations that have access to thousands of people as opposed to 10 individuals and say, hey, Sarah, can you give me the time of day? You can do both. That's fine, right? But this works a hell of a lot better if you want to scale quickly. And then what you do is same thing I just said. I say, hey, as I'm presenting, if you see any, really good slides, just please take a picture. I'd love for you to share it with me on social. Then you share that with your audience, and now you're growing your brand. Like, oh, Tracy's a speaker. Oh, we got to hire her. Can we get her in here too? Do not take a picture of this slide because there's a typo. But in theory, that's what I would ask you to do during this webinar is to take a picture. And again, if you do this stuff, you will share it out with your network, and you will just grow your brand that way, right? And then you can say, hey, if you want to copy the recording or this free course, here you go. So focus on this stuff. Yeah, Lionel, I am going to send out the slides. Thanks for asking. Okay, so how do we monetize all this stuff though? How do we actually make money? So following up and booking sales calls, right? Include a call to action several times during your course. So in your course, you're going to say, hey, I hope this is helpful, but if you need help with this step, push here to book, a one-on-one time with me, or to book a discovery call with me, whatever it is. Do that several times during the course, especially in the beginning, because a lot of people just don't finish courses. That's how it goes. So don't say, oh, I'm going to wait till the end, then I'm going to hit them with this hook. They might not get that far, right? And the cool thing about Teachable is you can see how far people have progressed through your course. You say, well, Sarah's only on chapter 2. Like I don't think she's ever going to get through this. So you'll know to yourself, maybe there's something I can do to make it easier for people to push through, or maybe you want to make sure you front load, that opportunity for them to work with you a bit sooner. Right. So be very, very clear about that. Now, one thing I did with my course is I said, you have 10 days to complete it. 10 days. Because what I don't want you to do is just sitting there like, oh, I got this free course. I'll take it when I feel like it. No, you got 10 days. Now I know at any given basis how many people are about to leave the funnel, meaning they're about to lose access. I can then follow up and say, hey, Lionel, like, how'd it go? Love to talk to you. Here's my services, so on and so forth. But if you're like, hey, well, you have from now until eternity to finish this course, there's no sense of urgency. So maybe you give them a week, maybe give them a month. It's up to you, but just consider doing that as well. And again, the cool thing with Teachable is you can export your email list for people that signed up based on what lessons they've already completed too. So it makes it pretty easy. Another thing really important is you want to offer an apply what you've learned webinar. Like, hey, everyone, I'm glad you enjoyed this mini course. Now let's make sure you apply what you've learned. One of my favorite quotes by Jim Rohn is, knowledge uninvested in labor is wasted. So I want to make sure that you actually get your desired outcome from this course. Join me for this free webinar on the 15th. We're going to talk about the outcomes of the course and how you can take the next steps to reach these outcomes. So provide another reason to get in front of everyone. In this case, with this live instruction or this live interaction, right? Don't assume people are just going to go through the course and say, oh, I can't wait to talk to, Cicely next because she's just so amazing, right? You just have to make sure that you're actually giving them, all right, so I'm insulting 2 people now. All right, no, you're fine, you're cool. But, but to the point, just realize you're going to have to do some prompting as well. Super important. And then add them to an email nurturing sequence, right? So you're going to say, all right, well, here's some more value I have to offer, here's some handy tips or, whatever it may be. But just make sure that you do this email nurturing sequence as well afterwards, because some people are going to want to work with you just after seeing the course. That's great. All the people that I know personally, it's taken them years to ever actually want to work with me. That's just how it goes, right? You might be talking to the right person at the wrong time, or they just need more convincing, whatever it is. But you just want to make sure you keep on maintaining that relationship by sending them valuable content, right? Super important. I know you've all been waiting for this part, so here it is. Here comes a sales pitch. I'm going to try to sell you something. So please take notes on this one. How can I work with you? One is I have this consultant accelerator program, and this is for coaches and consultants that want to grow their brand and revenue. You can see everything you get here on the slide, so I don't want to go too deep into that. I actually want to answer more questions. But the key takeaways here are you get this coaching and consulting playbook, which is 100 pages of templates, guides, and scripts to help you grow your business. And you will also get access to this on-demand course, which is called the Consultant Accelerator, which is going to give you all the information you need to scale and or launch your consulting business. Outside of that, 2 weekly coaching calls, one-on-one calls with me, as well as ongoing voice or text message support. All the information you need to know about it right there. If you want to learn more about that, you can book a call with me. We'd be happy to walk you through that. But it's a lot of fun because let's take a step back. One benefit of having a course in general, if you are a coach or consultant, is you can do group coaching because all the core content is pre-recorded. So you can say, hey, everyone, I'm going to meet with you twice a week to answer any questions you might have, but all the core content is pre-recorded. So when you're on calls, you're not saying, here's how you do this. You're saying, okay, the assignment was to watch video 4. Who has questions about it? And the conversations you have are much more value driven because you're not explaining things that are fundamental. You're going deeper into the concepts. So the skill you're learning in regards to building this course, you can use that to create a group coaching program or just even an individual one. And you spend less time explaining fundamentals and going more into the nuances, the game within the game. So that's what I use in my program. I recommend you all do the same too, because then you can have what are called the 3 C's. First is a course, sell that for $500. Then there's group coaching, sell that for $3,000. Then there's consulting, sell the course and the group and one-on-one support for $9,000. There you go. 3 different levels, $500, $3,000, $9,000. But if the whole core content is still that course that you created. Makes it a heck of a lot easier. I'm doing it right now during COVID with 3 kids, and I do this 2 days a week, so it's pretty cool. Outside of that, if you want help just building your own course, let me know. I can help you with that too. Here's all the information on that. You can look at this later, but if you want me to help you build your own course, I'm there for that too. But if you join the coaching program, you would get the same support for this as well. So that gets bundled into the coaching program. If you want to talk about this more later, that's how you can book a time with me. I have time tonight. I have time right after this call as well. But if you do want to book a discovery call with me, that's how you would do it. And we can talk more about your business. Again, if you're a coach or a consultant or a knowledge-based entrepreneur, about how I can help you. So there's that. But the last thing I want to say is this. You're like 2 weeks away from having this thing done. I know it seems hard. I know it seems challenging. I created mine in 12 hours. I kept track. 12 hours. That's me writing the outline, writing the script, coming up with all the activities, recording it, going through, uploading it to Teachable, the back and forth with my editor, so on and so forth. 12 hours. That's it. Over the course of about 10 days. So it might seem so far away, but really you're about 2 weeks away from being done with this. And like I said, maybe don't sign up for Teachable until you're about to, go. That way the clock's not ticking. But it's going to be one of the most impactful ways to grow your brand and your revenue. 500 leads I brought in since releasing this, right? And I already showed you how to get these leads coming in. But again, for a father of 3 during COVID who still likes to work out and actually talk to his wife, this is a really good way to grow your business, right? So I recommend you all do the same. But now I'm going to stop and just answer questions. I can go a little bit over unless someone booked a call already. If not, you can scan to connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram. That's how you book a call with me. But I just want to grab some more questions if you have any. So when you teach in person, they call that the awkward 8. You wait 8 seconds, and if no one talks, then you start talking. It's a hell of a lot easier doing it via webinar, though. I'll tell you that right now, because I don't feel like everyone's just staring at me. Who's going to get started?
I appreciate the information. I'm going to review your slides and I'm going to see what I can put together. I have a lot of content already. I already have, a small client base that I helped on one-offs on interviewing and salary negotiation. But I'll tell you, my fear, or I guess my holdback has been with my current full-time job, and then this seemingly as a side hustle. I don't want it to seem like there's a conflict, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. I mean, the benefit of having this course is now you can direct message people and say, hey, I see you're a consultant. I'd love to share this with you. Instead of you having like a post on LinkedIn, hey, everyone, if you're a consultant, click here, you can have it much more in the down low. So, and you're still providing value, which is good. So it's helpful if you want to be a bit more covert about it, just to have this value you can give people, as opposed to being so overt about it on social media in this case.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Question from Angelina is: do I feel like advertising your course via LinkedIn has been more helpful than IG? Well, I haven't advertised by paid ads. If you mean, if I've done that, the answer is no. Have I gotten more people to sign up for it on LinkedIn? Yes. Because people on LinkedIn, they're like, oh, I want to see a picture of a cat playing with a ball of yarn, not take this guy's course. So yeah, some people, do take it, but on LinkedIn, I've gotten much more traction from it. So that would be my recommendation. But you never want to just not talk about it, because you never know who's listening and who might want to, if you do have it on Instagram as well. So I would still do it. But for me, LinkedIn's been the main source of leads, as well as talking about it through third parties. Tracy's saying, thank you. You're welcome. Jody Tatiana is saying, you don't have to be new every time you hear me present. I've known Jody Tatiana for like 6 months, so it's cool. Glad I still have some fresh content. All right. Cool. Well, it is 4 o'clock and I'm going to stop sharing, but thanks for spending the hour with me. I appreciate it, because for me, this is how I feel normal during COVID, being able to do what I enjoy. So thanks for that. Thanks for the questions. And if any more questions do come up, I'm going to check the chat window real quick. You know how to reach out to me. So if you need help with this, or if you want to, again, grow your brand, your revenue as a coach or consultant, let me know. But this has been great. And once you create your course, just share it with me. I'd love to see what you come up with, because I want to check that out as well. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.